Hey everyone, here we are going to talk about Twin Peaks today. We have some Twin Peaks news, possibly some Twin Peaks news coming up for 2020. If you want to join our group, facebook.com/groups/Twin Peaks Season 4, jump over there. That's where we're going to be broadcasting live, plus YouTube. Check and make sure we are up and discrediting them. I don't know. I'm not defending one way or the other. But if Twin Peaks, if they do have a season 4, that would certainly be interesting. And, well, I think they're going to have a season 4. I've been saying that since season 3 ended, period. There's a couple of factors, though, that will affect that. Number one is we got to keep David Lynch healthy. That's the thing we have to do, and we got to keep him out of the old age home. If one of those two things happen, then we're not going to get a season 4. Very unlikely. So Draper on YouTube says, could it just be the release of a long version of Fire Walk With Me? Big is not the same for everyone. I agree. I absolutely agree. So listen, whatever happens is completely on this Hollywood Horror Museum. So here's a second tweet that he had, or she, I guess it's a he. Longtime followers of our page know our connections with the Twin Peaks cast, crew, studio, etc., etc. We haven't the right to say anymore, nor will we spew a bunch of rumor crap unless someone high up tells us to remove this post. Just remember, you heard it here first. So once again, nobody knows. I'm here to just discuss it. Everybody talk about it. And some people don't believe him. I'm not saying that I do believe him. I'm here to discuss it. That's all. So let's see what else is going on there. And one guy says, you're killing me here. Any idea when an announcement will be made? Need to book that day off work. So let me see. Once again, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm certainly curious about it, and I want to discuss it. And what I get a kick out of people who think they know something. They don't like this post, perhaps, but they think they're big experts. Well, I don't believe you either. I don't believe any of the tweets specifically. So here we go. Now, the thing is, I don't think there's going to be a season 4 that's going to be broadcast in 2020. But I think there can be an announcement about something about the future of Twin Peaks. I mean, Lynch himself has said that he's interested in television, continuing story of television.
Continuing story told with freedom is a beautiful thing.
Could you see yourself doing more television in the future?
Sure. A place for a continuing story told with freedom is a beautiful thing.
Could you see yourself doing more television?
So that is, of course, a clip that came out after season 3 was over. So it's absolutely just can happen. I mean, I formed a Facebook group over it. Okay, Twin Peaks season 4, because I believe is going to be happening. I doubt they'll be broadcast in 2020, like I said. Let me grab my coffee here. I doubt if it would be broadcast. I think it would be more of an announcement, if anything. So let's get back to this guy that started all this stuff. Here's another thing he said. Here's why we wouldn't lie or spread a funky rumor about Twin Peaks. We'd lose all credibility. We'd lose followers and friends. We worked so damn hard to get. Now, the guy below says, I don't think you're lying, but your idea of something big might not match up with others. That's very, very true. that's one of the things that people are saying, oh, somebody said it's going to be a museum. That's not that exciting. I mean, you know. So there's a couple of other interesting things. 5 more replies. Let me see what these are. So Lynch spoke cryptically of hearing Carrie Page, whatever, he talked about that at one point. The truth will be out in 2020 or possibly before. That's what the Hollywood Horror Museum says. He implies that it's something more. I mean, once again, I'm not reading his mind, but something that he implies it's something more than just a museum or some kind of a book or whatever. But that's totally on him. I'm certainly not defending. Here's more of my reaction when I first heard this. I'm hopeful, but I'm certainly not just buying it just because there's a tweet. But it's certainly interesting. Other people have said, no, the guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but that's between you and him, not between you and me. This is what he says. By the way, regarding Twin Peaks, to the people say we're lying, we're full of crap, we don't know what we're talking about, etc. He says, just donate $1 to our nonprofit, whatever. So if you don't think he's telling the truth, and he turns out to be telling the truth. So this is the interesting. So how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10 after hearing the info? And the next guy says, yeah, with a scale of 1 being some of the cast to 10 being season 4. And he says 1 million excited. 1 million on a scale of 1 to 10. So that's, yeah, once again, I want to see sources before I believe it. But it certainly is interesting. Certainly is interesting. So we have our Facebook group over here, facebook.com/groups, Twin Peaks Season 4. And we have, I gotta come back on here. We have a bunch of people joining today because I posted about this. I'm just going to approve everybody for right now. And we surpassed. So here's one comment. We'll post this one comment. Joseph Ott says, you don't know Perfect Settled? You don't know either, Joseph. You don't know. You said you know something about Twitter, but I don't believe either Twitter feed. None of them. I'm not here to report whether they're true or not. I'm just here to talk about it. That's all. You can argue with yourself, argue with the other guy. That's fine. Here's a long one. I feel the reason for the non-disclosures is that we are calling Season 4 was filmed at the same time as The Return. There was a claim, I believe, by Entertainment Weekly, but I could be wrong about the source, that said he filmed 2 seasons at once. So I don't know about that. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm sure he could have used some of the stuff that he filmed with Season 4. I'm sure he could have used some of it for Season 3, for Season 4. That's certainly possible. But anyway, I'm kind of just, at this point, listen, it's what are you talking about on a Sunday it's September, the end of September? I'm talking about something about Twin Peaks, possibility of an announcement. And it doesn't sound like it's just a museum or a book. I mean, that wouldn't be that interesting. So Draper says it can't be release of a season. 2 years to write and shoot more Twin Peaks seems impossible. I agree. I don't think it's a release. I think if it's anything, it's maybe an announcement. I'm not sure how this guy got his information. I have no idea. No idea, but I'm curious. That's all. I'm not saying it's real. I'm just saying I'm very curious because look what I have. I have a Facebook dedicated to Twin Peaks Season 4. I've had it for years. We've been slowly building up this to discuss Twin Peaks stuff mainly, but specifically Season 4. Specifically Season 4. Let me just check a couple more things real quick. So I'm not going to stay in here much longer. I just wanted to come on and talk about that if you have any comments about it. So one of the other curious things, I remember when Twin Peaks came back the last time, when it came back, when they made the announcement. Okay, they made the announcement right after Twin Peaks: The Entire Mystery was released. It was right after that they announced that Lynch and Frost both came on and said that Gum You Like is coming back in style. And they just released Twin Peaks from A to Z, another box set. I also purchased that. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. We'll see. Depends on how much behind the scenes kind of stuff it has. They just announced that. So if they came out with another announcement right after that, that would certainly be curious. I bought Twin Peaks on VHS tape the first season. I didn't have a way to play it back. Didn't have DVRs in those days, so I bought the VHS tape. I still have them. They're back behind me. Of course, there's also, let me go back to our page here, Twin Peaks Season 4. There's also, for people who don't, some people say they don't want Season 4, but here, Twin Peaks Archives did a poll. Twin Peaks Archives, would you like to see a fourth season of Twin Peaks? 90% of the respondents said yes. Only 11% said no. So you're in the minority if you don't want season 4. If you don't want it, don't watch it. I mean, I'd certainly want it. I would like to see it. I mean, they had the end of season 2 was not Lynch's fault the way that ended with Evil Coop getting out of the Black Lodge. That wasn't his fault because the network just cut him off. So I'm kind of just wait and see what percolates in the old Twin Peaks coffee pot. Once again, I'm not saying that it's absolutely 100% true because I don't listen. It's the internet. Do you believe everything you see on the internet? I don't. You know, one person says, "Oh, this tweet's bad, that tweet's bad." Well, until it comes out definitively, I don't believe any of the tweets 100%, but I like to talk about them. I mean, I'm talking about Twin Peaks today. So what do you all think about the Hollywood Horror Museum tweets? Some people believe them, some people don't. Anyway, you can join our group over here, facebook.com/groups/Twin Peaks Season 4, where we're going to be discussing Twin Peaks in general, but leading up to Twin Peaks Season 4 specifically. I absolutely believe it's going to be happening. I just think it's a matter of racing whether or not we can keep David Lynch out of the old age home, basically. What else do I have up here? Oh, there's another thing that I wanted to bring up. This is let me play this clip. So there's a website online, masterclass.com, And they have Martin Scorsese, and they have all these great directors, and they have Annie Leibovitz, the filmmaker. I mean, the photographer, and they have all kinds of people talking about, Ken Burns is on there talking about directing. And I only joined it last January because David Lynch was announced. David Lynch is on there, and he had some very, very interesting things to say about filmmaking. Well, they were interested if you're a David Lynch fan, but let's put it that way. One of the things that he said in that interview, I got it specifically for David Lynch. I'll play a clip in a second. David Lynch said he and Mark Frost wrote Twin Peaks Season 3 via Skype during the day. Okay, everybody knows that. In this masterclass, he says he often continued to write Twin Peaks by himself at night with a yellow pad and pen. So some of the stuff that he wrote during the day was with Mark Frost, but David went and wrote with a yellow pad and pen by himself at night, just looking at the sky and stuff. I thought that was very interesting. So here's David. It's masterclass.com is where you can find that. Let me pull that up here. Here we go.
A desire for an idea is like putting a little piece of bait on a hook and lowering it into the water. Ideas are everything. We're nothing without an idea. You could be working on a painting and suddenly something in that gives you an idea for a film. Music, painting, cinema. This is the art life.
How did you get it?
By breaking the rules. My name is David Lynch, and this is my masterclass.
So I joined that class. It's not cheap. It's hundreds of dollars per year. I joined that website specifically because David Lynch was announced. He wasn't even there when I joined, but he said he was forthcoming. So if you don't have any more comments, I'm going to hop off here. Let me just check. Most 90% of the people want a season 4 Twin Peaks. When we'll see that, like I said, it depends on if we can keep Mr. Lynch alive and out of the loony bin. He's getting up there and he smokes cigarettes, right? Maybe we can do a GoFundMe for oxygen. So anyway, my name's Richard Taylor. And do you have any questions before I sign off here? Any comments? You can post them in Facebook or you can post them in Twitter, either one. If you don't necessarily believe so some people have said, they said this, I would prefer a new movie from David instead of another Twin Peaks. Well, you know, when the networks, David Lynch was not that involved in season 2 of Twin Peaks. Okay. He says, he's quoted as saying he hated it. He hated it. He didn't direct. I think he'd maybe direct the first episode of season 2 and maybe the last episode. He hated it, he said. He didn't like it. So Fire Walk With Me, which I absolutely loved. I loved it when it came out. I wrote a letter to the editor of the local city paper here in Baltimore defending. They trashed it or they, gave it bad review. I wrote a letter to the editor that I still have defending it. And I've been a big fan of Fire Walk With Me. It's probably my favorite Twin Peaks vehicle to date as a whole, as a complete unit. But he did that specifically because he wanted control. He wanted to control the Twin Peaks universe. And he did with Fire Walk With Me. Okay. It was a brutal film. It was zero Mark Frost. Mark Frost was not involved in that Twin Peaks film at all. And I love it. It's my favorite Twin Peaks vehicle. But in season 3, it's, I like a lot of the individual episodes. A lot of the individual segments, when it first started out, I was ecstatic, completely ecstatic for the first 1 or 2 or 3 episodes. And then in the middle, it got a little meandering for my taste. Other people like it. I mean, of course, there's all different opinions. And, but anyway, remember, season 3 of Twin Peaks wasn't even in Twin Peaks, right? I mean, it was barely in Twin Peaks. It was in New York. It was in Buckhorn, South Dakota. It was in Las Vegas. A little bit. It was just a little bit in Twin Peaks. So when he left off with, Carrie Page and Richard Coop, that version of Cooper, that could go anywhere. And, we did see Laura's body disappear off the beach when Cooper corrected the timeline. What the heck that was that about? I don't know. And also, we want to mention Linda Porter, Mr. Jackpots, the woman in the casino. She died at 86. So have you rewatched season 3 multiple times? So when it first came out, I watched each episode 3 times, some of them 4 times or more. I have not rewatched a single episode since season 3 ended. Haven't rewatched it. And I have no intentions of rewatching it until season 4 is announced. Once season 4 is announced, then I'll revisit with the hope of, with the idea that we'll be headed into season 4. So that's it for today. I think I'm going to put up our Facebook group. You can join our Facebook group. Now listen, the thing about our Facebook group, I don't want 10,000 people in there. 1,000 or so, that's plenty. So right now we're up to 450, 460, something like that. And the other thing is there's not going to be a lot of arguing and bickering about stuff, and certainly not any name calling. We're going to have a good time over there waiting for season 4 to be announced. So far it's been fine. We don't want any people that are going to be causing problems. There's plenty of places. There's tons of Facebook groups and things on Twin Peaks. So new David Lynch exhibition in New York. That'll be interesting. I'm on the East Coast, by the way, of the U.S. I'm outside of D.C. and Baltimore, so I could certainly make it up to New York. All righty. I think that's probably just about it for this episode of Twin Peaks Season 4 live. We will be coming back here live every so often, and especially if there's any news about Season 4, because that's what our group is about. If this guy from, what is the place he's from? If Hollywood Horror Museum is just talking about a new Twin Peaks museum, I don't care. I really don't care about that. I don't know if you do or not. Maybe if it's in your neighborhood, you'll care about it. But when Twin Peaks season 3 ended, I thought there'd be an announcement right about now, 2019, 2020. I don't think it'll be another 25 years by any stretch of the imagination. I never thought that. That's what it's like waiting for an announcement for season 4, just floating in space. Anyway, everybody, my name's Richard Taylor, and hop on over to see us at facebook.com/groups/Twin Peaks Season 4. We're going to have a nice, friendly group of people over there. And until the next time we go live, I'll talk to you later.